Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, girls and boys and girls. Welcome back to our channel, Inspirational Minutes with David. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification to let you know when our channel is back on, and hit the like and share. Hit the like and share button. Oh, let me move out. Yes. You know what I was about to say, but you already know the signal by now, right? Right? Yes, the audacity of woke. Get the book. Get the book. Get the book. Thank you in advance. Get the book, The Audacity of Woke, Kindle, Amazon.com, $9.99, or you can get it soft cover. Thank you. Soft cover, $14.99. Get the book. I have some things to talk about today. We're gonna go get on some things I talked about a year ago. I talked about this about a year ago. Just kind of going back and to remind you that I'm still on it. As they say, I'm still with this. I'm still with them. Yeah, I'm with that too. Hit the like and share, hit the subscribe button, let you know that our channel's back on. Thank you for your time with us today, or this weekend, or whenever you watch this bill. The Audacity of Woke, get the book. Also, thank you for your time with Inspirational Minutes with David. We are going to have a nice little talk today. Just something that we talked about a year ago. But I noticed that we're getting closer and closer to 2030. Let's have a drink. 2030. Inspirational Minutes with David today. Properly entitled. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The number of completion, they say. The number of completion. So the title of our Inspirational Minutes with David today is titled 7 Years and Counting to 2030. Oh, do we know what's going on in 2030? Do we know what's going on in 2030? It's the WEF, I should say the World Economic Forum, WEF, in 2030. And a little bit of background about this. I talked about this about a year ago, but a little bit of background about the World Economic Forum is that it was founded 50 years ago, which means I was 5 going on 6 years old when it was founded. But it has gained increasingly prominence over the decades. It has become one of the leading platforms of futuristic thinking and planning. As a meeting place of the global elite, the WEF brings together the leaders in business and politics along with a few selected individuals. The main thrust of the forum is global control. Global control. Free markets and individual choice do not stand as the top values. Oh no, they're not gonna. No, it's all about control. They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about free markets and individual choice of the people. And it's not even at the top of their core values. But state intervention, and also collectivism. Now, according to the projections and scenarios coming from the World Economic Forum, individual liberty and private property are to disappear from this planet by 2030. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, I talked about it. I talked about that also. I talked about that in this book. The Audacity of Woke. I talked about everything I'm about to talk to you right now about. I'm about to talk to you about that right now. In my book, I put 8 predictions. First of all, let's start off and say individual liberty is at risk. A gun. Hold up. Individual liberty is at risk. Again. And what may lie ahead was projected. Let's see, we're in 2023 now. So it was November 2016. There's the number 7. There you go. Predicted 7 years ago, 2016 November, when WEF published 8 predictions for the world in 2030. Now, listen. According to the WEF scenario, the world will become quite different from now because how people work and live will undergo a profound alteration. It will undergo a deep change. The scenario for the world 2030 is more than just a forecast. It is a plan whose implementation has accelerated dramatically. Has accelerated so freaking fast since the announcement of the pandemic and the consequent lockdowns. Now listen. According to the WEF's Global Future Council's projections, private property and privacy will be abolished during the next decade, the next 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The future exploitation will go further than even the communists demand to cancel the property of production goods, but leave space for private possessions. See, the WEF projection says that consumer goods, now listen now people, consumer goods will no longer be personal property. Now, if the WEF projection should come true, people will have to rent and borrow their necessities from the state, which will be a sole priority of all goods. The supply of goods will be rationed in line with a social credit points system. I talked about that last week as well. It's already over there in China. And you know, China is now the new big brother. It has come up. It has. So they're going to have a social credit point system that they have in China right now. They are the breaking ground point, so to speak. Now, shopping in the traditional sense will disappear along with the private purchases of goods. Shopping in the traditional sense, I mean, we used to go to the malls and we used to go to physical building stores. Now, mostly everything is online. So it has been quietly been changing. They've quietly been pushing it in right before our eyes, right under our noses. Every personal move will be tracked electronically, and all production will be subject to the requirements of clean energy and sustainable environment. Oh, you think it's not real? You think it's a game? To sustain sustainable agriculture, the food supply will be mainly vegetarian. Oh, you know who like I said before, about a year ago, you know who the biggest farmer, who owns the most farmlands right now? Yeah, hates Bill, that is, hates. The government will provide the basic accommodation, food, and transport in the new totalitarian service economy. At the same time, the rest will be lent out from the state. The use of natural resources will be brought down to a minimum. In cooperation with a few key countries, a global agency will set the price of CO2 emissions at an extremely high level to disincentivize its use. Now, in a promotional video, the World Economic Forum summarized the 8 predictions in the following statements. People will own nothing. People will own no thing, nothing. Goods are either free of charge or it must be lent or borrowed from the state. The United States will no longer be the leading superpower, China, but a handful of countries will dominate. Organs will not be transplanted, but printed 3D. Meat consumption will be minimized. Massive displacement of people will take place with billions of refugees. A global price will be set at an excessive limit to limit carbon dioxide emissions. That's where the green energy, the electric cars are getting real popular right now. People can prepare to go to Mars through your mind and start a journey to find alien life. Western values will be tested to the breaking point. Now, beyond privacy and property, in a publication for the World Economic Forum, Danish eco-activist Ida Auken, who served as her country's Minister of Environment from 2011 to 2014. Her last name is spelled A-U-K-E-N, Auken, and still is a member of the Danish Parliament, has elaborated a scenario of a world without privacy or property. And welcome to 2013, which is a little bit under 7 years away. She envisions a world where I own nothing. I own nothing. You own nothing. Have no privacy. And life has never been better. By 2030, she says, shopping and owning have become obsolete because everything that once was a product is now a service. Let me say that again. Everything that was once a product is now a service. Now, in this idyllic new world of hers, people have free access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all things we need to our daily lives, right? As these things become free of charge, it ended up not making sense for us to own too much. There will be no private ownership in houses, nor will anyone pay rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. For example, a person's living room will be used for business meetings when one is absent. Concerns like lifestyle diseases, climate change, and refugee crisis, environmental degradation, completely congested cities, water pollution, air pollution, social unrest, and unemployment will be things of the past, they say. Or she say. The author predicts that people will be happy to enjoy such a good life that is so much better than the path that we're on right now, where it became so clear that we could not continue with the same growth model. It's going to be an ecological paradise. Remember the 8 predictions? In her 2019 contribution to the annual meeting of the Global Future Councils of the World Economic Forum, she goes on to foretell that how the world may look in the future. If we win the war on climate change, by 2030, CO2 emissions are significantly reduced. People will live in a world where meat on the dinner plate will be a rare sight. for you meat lovers. For you meat lovers. Well, water and the air would be much cleaner than today because of the shift from buying goods to using services. The need to have money will vanish. It's going there now, right? Because people will spend less and less on goods. Work time will shrink and leisure time, she say, will grow. For the future, the elites envision a city where electric cars have substituted conventional combustion vehicles. You talking about gas, cars with gas, put gas in it, combustion, polluting the air. They talking about going straight green. Why do you think people, they're so big on electric cars? They had it before it was done underneath the sun. It's nothing new. They had it before 100 years ago. Now they're bringing it back. Most of the roads and parking spaces will have become green parks and walking zones for pedestrians. By 2030, agriculture will offer mainly plant-based alternatives to the food supply instead of meat and dairy products. The use of land to produce animal feed will significantly diminish, and nature will be spreading across the globe again, they say. Now here you go, another one. Fabricating social consent. Now how can people be brought to accept such a system, I ask? Debate to entice the masses in the assurance of comprehensive health care, and a guaranteed basic income. The promoters of the Great Reset promise a world without diseases. They promise a world without diseases or diseases due to biologically produced organs and individualized genetics-based medicine treatments. A drastically increased life expectancy and even immortality are within our reach or possible, they say. Artificial intelligence will eradicate death and eliminate disease, and morality. The race is on among biotechnological companies to find the key to eternal life. They're doing it right now. Along with the promise of turning any ordinary person to a godlike Superman. The security of a universal basic income is beautiful, particularly to those who will no longer find a job in the new digital economy. Obtaining a basic income without going through the treadmill and the disgrace of applying for social assistance is used as bait to get the support of the poor. To make it economically viable, to make sense of it economically, guaranteeing a basic income will require leveling wage differences. The technical procedures of money transfer from the state will be used to promote a cashless society. Each purchase will be registered with a digitalization of all monetary transactions. They're going to know everything about you. And as a consequence, the governmental authorities will have unrestricted access to supervise in detail how individual persons or people spend their money. A universal basic income in a cashless society will provide the condition to impose a social credit system and deliver the machine to sanction undesirable behavior and identify the extra and the unwanted. Do you not hear me, people? Do you not believe it? We're less than 7 years and so away. I know you're probably wondering and realizing or trying to understand like David, but who will be the rulers? You see, they thought of everything. They have thought of everything. The World Economic Forum needs to be more active and determine who will rule in this new world. There's no reason to expect the new power holders to be nice and kind and benevolent. No. Yet even at the top decision makers of the new world government, they were not mean, but just technocrats. What reason would an administrative technocracy have to go on with the undesirables? Question mark. Listen. Rewind it. Listen to the question. What makes sense for a technocratic elite to turn the ordinary person into a Superman? Question mark. Why share the benefits of artificial intelligence with the masses and not keep the wealth for the chosen few? Question mark. Not been swayed by the utopian promises. A sober assessment of the plans must come to a conclusion in this new world. It must come to a conclusion in this new world. There will be no place for the average person, and they will have to be put away, along with the unemployable, feeble-minded, and the ill breed. The ill breed people with compromised health, physical systems. Now, behind the preaching of the progressive gospel of social justice by the promoters of the Great Reset and establishment of a new world order lurks the sinister projects of eugenics. The technique is now called genetic engineering. And as the movement is named transhumanism, a term coined by Julian Huxley, the first director of UNESCO. The project's promoters keep silent about who will be the rulers in this new world. You see, the dystopian and collectivist nature of these projections and plans results from rejecting unrestrained capitalism. Establishing a better world through a dictatorship is a contradiction in terms. Less but more economic prosperity is the answer to the current problems, right? Therefore, we need more free markets and less state planning. The world's getting greener, and the fall in the growth rate of the world population is already underway right before our noses, right before our eyes. The trends are more natural consequence of wealth creation through free markets. 7 years away, people. 7 years away to 2030. WEF. You still think it's a game? Do you? It hurts how we go upon our lives. How we unequivocally go upon our lives without any critical thinking skills, without any unlearning of things, without any question your how, question the how, and question your why or the why. 7 years away, people. 7 years away from 2030. In conclusion, the WEF, World Economic Forum, and its related institutions, in combination with a handful of governments and a few high-tech companies, want to lead the world into a new era without property or privacy. Values like individualism, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are at stake, people. It's at stake. What are you going to do? I get so upset. I get so agitated. I get so passionate. What are you going to do? They are to be repudiated, rebuffed, in favor of collectivism and the imposition of the common good. defined by the self-proclaimed elite of the technocrats. And what is sold to the public as the promise of equality and ecological sustainability is a brutal assault on human dignity and liberty. Instead of using new technologies as an instrument of betterment, the Great Reset seeks to use the technological possibilities as a tool of enslavement. You think it's a game? Do you think it's a game? In this new world order, the state is the single owner of everything. May I repeat, in this new world order, the state is the single owner of everything. It is left to our imagination to figure out who will program the algorithms that manage the distribution of goods and services. I'm going to put you up on game. You see, reprogramming your thoughts is crucial. And you can use the law of duality as a clutch, polarity. We all know every action has an equal and that reaction. Find a wavelength that's opposite of the emotion / attitude that you're resonating with. Well, of course, right? It's easier said than done. And half the time, you already got your mind made up about the situation, to be honest. That's the right way. That's the way right there. As much as you can make up a scenario in your head in a negative manner, you can also do so in a positive way. The issue is people need more data on happy experiences, or well tuned out scenarios. There are everyday hardships that we all go through. Some of us accept it like it's normal, getting just a tad bit deeper. It's all about probability. You believe an outcome will turn out the way you do based on a certain set of data, which is your previous experiences about the matter. And if all that you are faced with is hardships about that particular aspect of your life, on average, things haven't worked out well, and you probably feel more pessimistic about the situation. But suppose you interject data that's outside of your usual perspective. In that case, you'll see different results in your law of attraction. This is where putting yourself in other people's shoes, this is where all that comes from. This is where putting yourself in other people's shoes comes in handy, because if you can observe and see people doing what you like to do or overcome, you can adopt a new mindset. The problem is when people see others doing better, they begin to hate. They begin to envy. Ego steps in, and they begin to dry hate on people, and end up missing the message. You did? They end up missing the whole point. Only when you look through a different frequency, you'll be able to see the key you might have been missing. Now, I said all of that because, for you, it's probable that outcomes may turn out a certain way. But some people are doing it. So, what's the difference? Huh? And you'll find out it's all an emotion or attitude that drives a very person. It's all the emotion. It's all in the emotion or attitude that drives a person. Of course, given that both of you are hard working towards the matter. You can't aspire. You cannot aspire to have great things and work and keep great things to work when you have stress toward the great things that you're trying to work on and bring into your life. You have to apply a resonating attitude, a resonating attitude, a frequency towards whatever you're trying to bring about in your life. Remember, we're infinite consciousness, energy, spiritual beings expressing ourselves as humans. And you'll find the opposite emotion you're putting out in the first place. If you made it this far in an Inspirational Minutes with Dave, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. I just had to link back up with you people, with your family, friends, cohorts, roommates, people, lovely critical thinking people. I'll give you a few quotes before we leave out. This was by Henry David Thoreau. He says, when any real progress is made, we unlearn and learn anew what we thought we knew before. This next one is by Melana Rumney. Before you can learn, you need to learn how to learn. And before you can learn how to learn, you need to learn how to unlearn. Oh, I love that one. And my last one. The last one is by Alvin Toffler. He quotes, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn. Who cannot learn and unlearn. Must I say it? Must I say that again? Must I say? The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot unlearn and relearn. Subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, let you know our channel is back on Inspirational Minutes with David. I hope we learned a little bit today. I had to just go back on some things that we talked about a year and a half ago. Because I want you to know that we're 7 years away. We're 7 years away from 2030. And they are having the World Economic Forum. They about to reprogram some things and make some things happen, the elite. That we're not included. But we can be included if we get included and relearn, unlearn, unlearn some things. And become a critical thinker. And be serious about this damn thing. If I love me, I love you. And when you love you, I love myself. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. Let you know when our channel is on. Until next time, have a great weekend. Peace.